I was in my work truck. Apparently, it was quite the show. I bought a lottery ticket, but I didn't win. Story 2. I never thought I would go to college. Yet here I am, a week before finals, sharing my thoughts with someone online. Story 3. I discovered that I was the person in the friend group whom everyone kept around as a joke and to play with. I genuinely believed they cared about me, and I loved them. Story 4. Cancer diagnosis 1 month after my stepdad was diagnosed. I was 41 with 3 children, ages 2, 7, and 17, while going through a divorce. Thankfully, I am here to share that years later. Story 5. I never thought I would go to a psychiatric ward. I didn't know what a manic episode was like until I experienced my first and only one. Story 6. Have a normal heart rate. I have had inappropriate sinus tachycardia all my life, and I am now recovering from heart surgery with a steady heart rate between 65 and 85. Before my surgery, it was normal for my heart rate to go up to 160, and my resting heart rate was around 110. Story 7. I had a baby who passed away after being here for a month. Nothing prepares you for the death of a child. Story 8. I always felt silly telling people my dreams of getting my Doctor of Philosophy in Neuroscience. I begin my program in August, and it still doesn't feel real when I talk about it. Story 9. I had a challenging start in life, but I earned my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering last December. I am in my 30s and was a high school dropout. I worked various jobs and never imagined I would be doing anything like this. Story 10. Get into an abusive relationship. I thought I was fine, and it was mostly financial and emotional, but it's difficult. I always prided myself on being so smart that I would never get stuck in a bad relationship. I didn't know you could wake up one day and realize the situation has turned toxic. A word of advice to anyone reading this. People don't change, but they can get worse. So don't just roll your eyes and forgive everything. Protect your happiness and peace first, because you don't want to be where I am. It's a cold and difficult day when you realize that all the effort you put into building a life with someone is meaningless because they take pleasure in your suffering in some way. Also, if you ever find yourself on your knees crying and begging to be loved correctly and they're just standing over you with a blank expression, run. Don't stop to grab your shoes. It will only get worse, and you have already stayed in that relationship too long. Story 11. I got pregnant at 41 and had a baby girl after trying for 17 years. I had wanted a baby girl for as long as I can remember. I still can't believe it finally happened. She's 6 now, and I still pinch myself over it. Story 12. My husband died suddenly at the age of 53. I did not expect to become a widow with 2 children. Fortunately, he considered this possibility and had a life insurance policy to provide for us. Story 13. I never thought I would feel better in my late 40s than I did in my 20s. I had a hysterectomy in November, and I only wish I could have had it a couple of decades ago. It was the best decision ever. It took over 20 years of doctors dismissing my complaints, but one finally listened to me. They probably figured I'm not going to have more babies at my age. I didn't realize how much pain I was in until I wasn't. I knew it hurt, but even the good days didn't feel like this. My pain levels are 0. I have energy. I can sleep. I'm not riding a ragged edge of irritability all the time. Also, sex is a whole new level of enjoyment. Story 14, divorce. My parents have been married for almost 50 years. Dedication and resolving issues is part of my upbringing. However, I draw the line at infidelity. Story 15. Beachside home with a view of the sunset every night. I was homeless 25 years ago, and now I feel fortunate for what I have. Story 16. Moving on from my first crush, I thought I would be lost without her. Now, when I think of her, I realize I truly dodged a bullet. Story 17. My husband of 27 years cheated on me. I now live 10 hours away in a different country, am divorced, and free from a controlling individual. Story 18. Going to college, being independent, and having a career will allow me to retire without relying on anyone for anything. Story 19. I was in a car accident in 2008 where my fiancée died, and I do not remember my last month with her. Story 20. The death of my younger brother was unexpected for me. I thought I would die first because I am older, and he appeared to be so physically fit. Story 21. I went partially blind out of nowhere with no symptoms and no known cause. It's pretty scary. I knock on wood every day that my other eye remains unaffected. Story 22. I got into a car accident. My friend had just received her license, and my parents didn't want me to ride in the car with her, but I convinced them to let me go. Story 23. I slipped twice in my life on a banana peel that someone littered on the ground. It's quite ridiculous when you don't know why you suddenly lose your balance. Story 24. Divorce. If you are reading this and are not yet married, get a prenuptial agreement. Divorce is much more legal